My favorite part. Oh my god, I love this part because you see all the prices adding up. Stressful moments. Class is in session. Hello, how are you today, guys? So I've gotten a lot of requests recently to do more educational kind of videos, like talking through just like more interior design content. Okay guys, so I thought to like kick us off, I'd do, because I'm doing a project at the moment, so I just thought I'd kind of show you or lay out how you design a bedroom, or how I design a bedroom. And you know, you might take something from this and you might not. But I'm gonna give it to you anyway. I'm currently doing a bedroom and I'm not gonna reveal that in this video, obviously. It'll be a separate video, but I thought, how fun would it be if I kind of talked you through my process of designing it and then showing you the actual finished result in a separate video. This kind of gives you like more in-depth look of how a space goes from this to what will be inserted in a week's time. So I got my handy dandy notebook here just to kind of go through everything and lay everything out. I bullet pointed it because I have a weird system when it comes to designing a space. I don't really have like a bullet point list of things to do. I kind of just do it. So anyway, I'll be talking through that. Grab yourselves a coffee or a tea or a water and a notebook to take some notes. Because I want to hear all your opinions after this, so let's go. Okay guys, how to design a bedroom. Now, see, interior design, it has, I don't know, like I've noticed anyway, I'm much more of a, well that looks so cool, let's do that. I rarely think of the technical side of it, because I don't think design in general, now obviously does have a technical element to it, and there is obviously regulations with certain things, with lighting and everything like that, but the visuals of it shouldn't be serious. It should be fun, and it's an expression of your taste, an expression of your client's taste, and it just shows, like, I love showing off personality in a space. So this room, anyway, let's insert it here. This room, as you can see, it has lots of natural light. It's a spacious room, it's a square room, so it's easy to find a layout for everything. So first thing I do with a space like this, or a space in general, is I analyze it. So that's kind of pinpointing where the natural light is coming from, where the doors are, which way they open up, what's the general layout of the space currently. Now this, I mean, there's only one position you'd really put the bed in this room, which would be against that wall as you come in. So you have the window this way and the windows up here. And then you have the doors to the bathroom and the closet on this side. I just thought that's the best place for the bed to go. Now obviously this is on your own preference, obviously, but I think the positioning of a bed or furniture in a space is very important. So even if that means you going home yourself and sketching out the space and maneuvering things around and seeing what will look best, because sometimes you kind of have a layout in your mind, and then when you actually select the furniture, sometimes it alters a bit. So once you've analyzed the space, you've figured out where all your electric sockets are, where the windows are, what light is in the space, and you've done all your notes, then it's time to measure. And you do this all within the same period of time. So you're there on site, you're analyzing, and you're measuring. So measure, I normally measure, so say if you have a square room, you have your door, a wall, a corner, a window, corner, and around. I normally measure from the corner to the door, the door to the corner down to the window to the wall, and that's how I do it. And then I take an overall measurement of each wall as well. I get the height of the window from the floor to the base of the window, the base of the window to the top of the window, and then the top of the window to the ceiling. I know it seems like a lot, but like, trust me, you can never have enough measurements, because once you go and buy your curtains and you're like, oh, is this gonna fit? If you have the measurements there, you don't have to worry about that. So take all your measurements. So then once you have analyzed and you've measured, now it's time to make a concept. So creating a concept is very easy. You might see a chair or a paint color that you're going to go off of, and you kind of work your concept around this. Or if you discussed with your client, what style they like, what kind of vibe they like, just in general what they're looking for in this space. You build a concept off of that. This is normally where I create my initial concept boards. Initial concept boards always, well, most of the time they change, because I've noticed with a lot of my projects that people don't really know what they want until they see it. So my initial concepts always are like, oh my god, I love that chair. Oh, I love this. Yeah, I love this whole color scheme. Not a fan of this. I'm not sure about that. And I'll bring it to the next point after. But like, I always... No, I'm not going to say. I was going to spill some tea there, but I'm not going to. That's for another video. Okay, so you've created your concept boards, everything's looking good, you present them to your client. Normally along with the concept boards, I generally move on to the next point, which would be creating your color scheme. Now for this room in particular, I saw a wallpaper that I really liked. It was this one from Farm Ball. It was like a deep blue and had like gold birds on it. I just thought that was so pretty. I'd actually gotten that one and the pink version of it because it was for the little girl's room, but then it ended up being for the master bedroom. So that's where my concept spread from, was the wallpaper. And that's where I got the color scheme and everything else. So like looking at the wallpaper, obviously there's blue and there's gold. That's the majority of the color scheme right there. So from that I wanted to add in different accents. Like I wanted to ground it a bit, so I added in some dark woods and then I added in some pinks as well. Just because I mean you can't go wrong with pink and gold. Gold is such an easy color to work with as well. So that's where I got my color scheme from, was the wallpaper. This could be, you could use anything. I know another room I done, I built the whole color scheme off one color that I really liked. It was like Strong White from Farm Ball. I was always wanting to use that color and I built the whole kind of space off of that color. And it kind of just works like that. Okay, so your color scheme is sorted, everything's agreed upon. Now when you're doing your color schemes, this is where I go and get my samples of all the colors you want to use in the space and bring them back to the house and put them on the walls, because colors in the little books and the little squares, they are so different to what they look like in real life. It's not even funny how different they are in person once they're actually up on the walls in that space with the natural lighting and everything else. You'll be surprised, because a lot of colors look a lot more darker on the color swatches, and then they're a lot lighter in person. So definitely, and leave them there for a couple of days so they get like the full effect, like with the cloudier skies, with the sunrise, with the sunset, when the lights are on in the room. Like let it sit for a bit. And generally they'll start being like, oh my god, I love this color so much. It's the best color ever. And it's like, yeah, I know, and I'm good at my job. So then, once you have your color scheme locked down and you have all your colors selected, see, normally when I'm doing color schemes, I write a list. So I have like room 1, master bedroom, kitchen, and I have it in a list, and I have wall paint, woodwork paint, if you're painting the woodwork, which I always love doing, etc, etc. And I have the name of the color, how much is needed, and how much it's going to cost. Just because I like to keep in mind the budget all the time as I'm going through, just so I know how much I'm spending and how much I'm saving. €20 might seem like, oh, that's not really like, you know, much of a, when you add up all your paint, when you get your discount and everything else, you might save €20. That mightn't seem like a lot of money initially, but that could go towards your prints or your bedding, you know, or you can keep it for yourself. Okay, so then you have to finalize your layout. So I'm a very visual person, so I don't do this all the time. It's only if the room is a bit more complex that I give out a 3D kind of render of the space, or like a kind of 2D layout diagram of it. Generally I do this if the space is a bit more complicated and if it's a bigger space, or if there's a lot more elements to it, or if I'm just wondering if something's going to fit properly, because I wouldn't be the type of person that could see an item and see that's going to fit. You know, I'd be a bit more like, oh, I want to make sure, because I'm a tad bit of a perfectionist. Now I wouldn't ever let it stop me doing something, because I know the definition of a perfectionist is they won't do something unless they're going to do it perfect. I think I used to be a lot like that, but now I'm a little more like freer, you know, and it's like, yeah, just do it. So finalize your layout. This is the more boring part of it, because it's a lot more like numbers and lines and measurements. That's the technical part. So this is where you'd finalize where your lighting outputs are going to go. Now depending on, see, this is for this room that I'm doing. So it wasn't a new build, so I didn't have to like go through the architectural plans and pinpoint where all the lighting things were going to go. There was already a ceiling light, and there was already outlets either side for the table lights. I knew where the lights were going to be going anyway. Then it's time to pick and order your furnishings. So this is the fun part. I mean, is this the fun part? I mean, it's fun. No, the next part is the fun part, putting it all together. This part is like where you're like, you do kind of like, oh God, because you see all the prices adding up and it's like, oh God, it's a bit pricey. But like, it's not until it's in that you're like, oh my God, that was so worth it. Good decision. Good choice, James. That was a good decision. And a lot of times this is where clients will be a bit more kind of vocal about what they want and what they don't want, because when you start spending money, that's when everything gets a little bit more real for them. Like, I know when you're buying yourself, like you have this cart done, let's say if you're shopping for clothes, you have your cart on your line, like, oh yeah, that looks so nice. And then to actually go and buy it, you're like, oh God, do I need it? You start second guessing yourself. This is why you have to be fully confident in everything that you choose, because if you're not confident in it, your client isn't going to be confident in it. So you have to know that that's going to look amazing. So pick and order furnishing. So this is if you're online or like going into store. I normally buy most things online, unless it's like a couch or something that I'd prefer to sit in just to kind of feel it. But realistically, a lot of my projects recently haven't been in like cities or busy areas, so it isn't easy to access stores. So I mostly shop online. So for this project in particular, it wasn't like a project that was done within a short period of time. It's been dragged out like a bit, just because like we're not in a mad rush to finish it. My client isn't in a mad rush to finish it, so it's kind of just one bit at a time. So I know for the artwork, I always present the concept board with the bed, the main pieces of furniture first, just so because I think once you get the foundation furniture sorted, the rest is easy, because it's easy to tie everything into each other, and you know then what your concept is going to be, your final concept is going to be. Because if they like the couch and it's very traditional, and you had pitched like a more mid-century couch, and all the furnishings and accessories were a mix of that mid-century traditional vibe, you know that you need to hone more in on that traditional side, because that's the kind of couch they like, and to fit it all together, it needs to, play off each other. That's when you kind of pick and order furnishings, is when you redo the concept board and make it final, and then you go and order your furniture. Well, that's what I done anyway. And then it's time to accessorize. My favorite part. Oh my God, I love this part. Accessorizing a space is like my favorite thing to do, because you've done all the hard work. You've done the analyzing, the measuring, the concept boards, the shop lists if you're doing shop lists. You've created your color scheme, you've picked and ordered all the furniture. Now it's time to accessorize. I love this. This would be like getting your vases, your flowers, I don't know, some people include rugs and accessories. I normally include it in the main piece of furniture, just because it's a bigger item, it takes up a lot more space. It's a very important thing, a rug. Like if you pick the wrong rug, it will show in a space. So make sure you choose your rug correctly. And once I had accessorized, that's the space complete. And you're gonna have to wait until next week to see the final space. Or next week or the week after. Not fully sure yet when it's gonna be up, but it will be up in the next coming weeks. I'm so excited to share this with you guys, because it's just so like, oh, perfect. I'm hoping I answered any questions you have about decorating a space. Now I will be doing this more in depth next year, because I'm going to be renovating my bedroom. I'm going to I can see the vision right now. I can see it. But I'm going to be renovating it from literally, I'm going to be documenting the whole thing from beginning, from initial just brainstorming, coming up with ideas, to doing concept boards, to measuring, to picking color schemes, to shopping. I'm going to be documenting everything and sharing with you, so you get a real in-depth look at the full process, the stressful moments, the happy moments, and I'm doing it with my bedroom just because, I have a lot, because when you do it for a client, you're kind of doing it for them, you're doing their style, their aesthetic, their vibe, and you're kind of mixing with yours. But because it's my bedroom, it'll be fully me, and I can take my time with it, and I can really get into the nitty gritty with you guys because I can share every detail. I can't when it's someone else's room. So that's why I'll be doing a way more in-depth version of it next year, because I want to give you guys something that you can learn from or use as inspiration, or even just learn from my mistakes. Like, that's what I want to do. I know a lot of you want to see that, so I'm going to try my best. If I had loads of money, I'd do it right now, but I don't. I'm saving up to buy an apartment, guys, so give me a break. Hopefully next year. So, I mean, that could be fun. You might see an apartment tour on my channel next year. If you'd like me to document that whole process, actually buying an apartment, like, let me know, because I don't really know much, but I know I'm doing it. And that's it. I know you guys, I really hope you enjoyed this. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and also hit that little notification bell just before you leave, just so you're notified when I upload. I mean, come on guys, I give you a how to decorate a bedroom video. I'm giving you so much insider information here. The least you can do is subscribe. Anyway, leave all your questions down below, any thoughts, concerns, anything down below, and I'll get back to you. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.